But I think, I think it's, I believe like Jim Morrison did, and I was doing that at the same time he was, but I think it should be living theater. Kick back, people just having fun. If they're not having any fun, they shouldn't be playing. And the only way you really could have fun is to get really loose, So the people have to have that concept. Well, I guess it's time to let the artists get loose now, Let them just get loose and have fun. So anyway.
And whatever it does to you, yeah.
I got a live album coming out of Europe. It's really good. I recorded it at a really big place there called The Garage. And I brought in I think it was a 16-track studio, so it's really good what's going to come out. It should have came out, though, a year ago. So.
And what's it all about?
Just the seeds, how they sound live.
Oh!
But more important, how my songs sound, And I just did this new album. I went down to L.A. This year, I can't believe what I do, And I got like $4,000, which is nothing. They say, like, do a Beatles song, like what Beatles song? The whole concept was I was going to do a Beatles thing. Then the concept changed, and they picked all these songs, And the name of the album is called King of Garage Rock, And I thought, well, like, why would I, want that title, like King of Garage Rock, Like, I'm more than that, I started psychedelia, I know that, I'm into cosmic, which people can't even get a grip on yet, and I've been doing that for, 30 years, But I thought I'd just take it anyway, like a wrestler takes the belt. So that's the name of the album, King of Garage Rock. And I got all your favorite songs on it. I got everybody's favorite song.
And that's available?
Yeah, it'll be out on Cleopatra Records. I got Glory on it. I got Satisfaction. I got I Want to Be Your Dog. The Beatles song.
Cleopatra Records. And that should be out when?
It should be out in a couple of months. You could ask them about it, but it's really good. It really is. And I got Danny and Clem. They're pretty famous. Got a star on the Walk of Fame and Hall of Fame. He plays with Blondie, and God, I just have so many. It's just such a good album. That it shouldn't have been held back. But the Seeds album definitely shouldn't be held back. So this is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of just like, who cares? Get any money. Don't get any money. I can't really hold it back. Just want to put it out. I'm going to stick it over the internet soon.
Just make it available for download.
But once they hear it once, they really don't need it. But, I like to tell people, that whatever you think you're downloading is not as good as the actual product.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Is it or isn't it? I don't know.
Personally, I can tell it. I've been in the record industry or whatever. Either I've worked in radio or in record stores. In both. I prefer to listen to a piece of vinyl anytime.
Well, vinyl is the warm sound. That's analog.
Oh,
the warm sound. But you know what?
If it's been taken care of, a piece of vinyl beats CD anytime.
Oh yeah. Well, see, it's real bad for your health. I don't know if you found that out.
The vinyl?
No, the digital.
Oh, no.
Digital. It's bad for your health. It's like there's reports on it. I could show you books of reports on it.
Well, fill me in.
What damages you because of the decibels in it. The digital sound. It's not the warm sound that people used to have. So because of that, that's how they took everybody's music. They changed it to digital. So everybody fell like a bunch of trees in a forest. They all thought that was it, but it isn't it. It's analog. It's the best sound, but how do you make it analog? As soon as you play something analog over something that's digital, it comes out digital. So, technology has outsmarted the people now. So even if I made analog, when you play it at home, it'll become digital because of what you're playing it on.
And you're saying that there's subliminal frequencies or something of that nature?
I'm saying that the digital will destroy people's health.
How do I
even you can check it out, and I even have some books on it somewhere. But it's something in San Francisco, and I think they even got a store about it. But it's something that is damaging people's health. But what do you do about it? The only way you could save yourself is if you had actual vinyl, right? And you're playing it on your actual record player at home. That's an analog sound.
Right.
But if you were taking this sound and it was going over the radio, then it would be digital, right? Even if they were playing it on vinyl, it would still go out digital, because of what you're receiving it on. And gradually, it'll just phase it all out, and it would just left be digital, but it isn't good.
What, is it going to melt my brain, or what?
Well, we only got into it because of the oil. That's really why they got into it. That's why they had to come up with something like that. I never thought it was better. I never really thought it was better at all. Isn't that funny?
But it does make it possible for me to make a CD in my home rather than trying to work out a deal with a big corporation to get it
but when you make
pressed.
a CD in your home, it's going digital.
Well, I know that, but that's what...
So what do you do?
Well, that's the only flaw in my plan
I mean,
at this point.
I used to make records when, look, in a tape, in the studio, make the master, and then you press it up. It's still analog all the way. I'm trying to figure out how would you do it.
Well, and it's getting hard to find a good turntable, for that matter, to play a good piece of vinyl.
Nothing is easier to build a sun car, that runs with the sun,
That's
Figure out some component, But I got all my friends,
We should
and
be far
they're
beyond.
working on it too,
I've always been told the government has got technology 30 years into the future than we can almost imagine.
Yeah, we don't need this oil, man. Look, if I found you on the street and I said, gee, you don't look good, let's take a few pints of blood from you just to make sure, and run a check on you. How about just 8 pints of blood? Hey, that'll make anybody really bad off. So when you take oil out of the ground, what it does, it weakens the earth. It causes earthquakes to really be massive now. It does a whole bunch of things. We're not supposed to be messing with taking oil out of the earth. I turned down a movie contract, ABC Paramount, like 30 years ago because they were Gulf Western. Otherwise, maybe I would have been a Tom Cruise, but my conscience, couldn't allow me to do it. The one studio I could have signed with, Paramount Pictures, became Gulf Western in between it or something. At least I can deal with it.
You have scruples.
I think it's wrong. I really do. And
well, this sounds like something that didn't just start yesterday with you then. This is
No.